It was totally malicious. I was
Yeah.
like, you're going to see that you're with a piece of trash, and this
Yeah.
closeted homosexual who lives at home with his parents is your man. This was actually a story that I kind of alluded to in one of our past shows.
For listeners, if you're a real one, you'll know it.
So, for those of you who don't know, I am a homosexual, but I did not come out till I turned 30.
On your birthday? Or just on that age?
I'm a person who thrives on deadlines, and my goal was to tell my parents by the time I turned 30. I told them 4 days before. So, a couple months leading up to this, there was this guy that used to go to my gym, and I just had a huge crush on him.
But this isn't misconnection.
This isn't misconnection, no. Somehow I found my way into his circle of friends. I don't remember quite how,
Okay.
but it was pretty organic. It wasn't like in a weird, forced way. I think we had some mutual friends, and then we'd occasionally talk to one another or whatever. So I found out he was dating someone.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna prove to him that I'm the one he should be with, as opposed to this guy, right?
Good.
So
okay.
I was gonna work my way in and see that I'm clearly the choice, right? Keep in mind, still in the closet, still lived at home. Okay, so
But you were like, I'm the total package.
I was living my total J-Lo delusional fantasy at this point. I got on Grindr. Now, for those of you not familiar with Grindr.
What year are we in? Everyone knows what Grindr is.
I know, but let's say your parents are listening and they need a refresher.
I think even my parents know, but okay.
Well,
go. Okay.
For the
explain.
uninformed, just for the uninformed, Grindr is basically a hookup app. It shows you who's close by in proximity, and you can message them and say, hey, we should get together and do things, so that's what it is.
For gay men.
So this guy that I liked, I saw his boyfriend on there.
Okay.
And I was just like, wow, he doesn't seem like an upstanding young gentleman to be doing this to the man I love. So I texted this guy and I was just like, hey, can you meet for dinner? I got something that I need to talk to you about. Yeah. And so we met for dinner, and the place we went to eat just happened to be across the street from where his boyfriend lived. God, in my mind,
oh my
I was
God,
just
Blair,
like,
I'm so scared.
In my mind, I was just like, you're doing the right thing. This is going to be your husband, so you need to help him realize that. So I was like, hey, I just want to. This is really hard for me to tell you this.
This is before appetizers have come, or
yeah, we just got beer. I was like, I can't sit on this any longer. It's been 2 days. I was just like, hey, I really feel like you should know that your boyfriend. I was on Grindr the other day, and he was on there, and I just feel like you should know. And you could see like his face kind of like the color drain, and he was just like, that's interesting. And then it got really quiet, and I was just like, so do you want to get food? Or like, I was like, at this point, I was just like, maybe this wasn't a good idea. Yeah, I was like,
you hadn't thought through after you said it.
No, I was like, oh boy, this might have been a bad idea. And then he was like, listen, I gotta go. Here's my part for my beer. And then he left. And so I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, I'm trying to process what happened.
Okay. And you're seeing him cross the street.
I see him go across the street into the apartment because he was like, yeah, he lives across the street. I'm going to go talk to him. And I was like, oh, okay. A couple days later, I was like, how are things? Yeah. Things good? He was like, no, things are okay. Like, he wouldn't tell me anything. So that is the scenario. Now, to kind of connect it to the story I told at the show, I was still convinced we were going to get together.
Okay.
So maybe a month later, he was talking about how he was looking for a roommate because he wants to save money so he can eventually move in with his boyfriend. They're going to buy a house together. And I was like, I'll move in. And so then I move in thinking, okay, if I'm this is full blown crazy. I'm thinking if I live under the same roof with this guy, that he's going to be like, wow, you know what? I need to rethink.
So you moved out of your parents' house.
And I moved in with him. Yes. I lived with him for 5 months. And then they finally got their house together. And then I was like, well, I guess I'm going back home.
Wait, you moved back home?
Mm-hmm.
Blair.
That's my story. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.